All right, friends, welcome. Chad here. Today we're going to talk about wealth improvement. Okay, this video is going to be for you, and I'm going to talk about my story, but it's going to be for you if you're someone who's on self improvement, who wants to better themselves, maybe going to the gym, you've been consistent with gym, meditation, all the good stuff, gratitude, but you feel like you're at a point where you need a change in lifestyle. You need a change in your income, right? You want to be free, be able to be independent, financially stable, do the things you want to do, travel, right? But also in a meaningful way. Okay? So what I'm going to talk about in this video is I'm going to talk about my story and how I stumbled upon the wealth income vehicle that essentially gave me the freedom that I wanted, that I've taken to six figures, 10K months. I've made tens of thousands of dollars in. And it was the vehicle that saved me from unfulfilling work and actually put me in a place where I was aligned to my long term vision, building skills and income that helped me crystallize my authentic reality and dream of wanting to build a business and help me move in that direction and support me in that, okay, while also giving me other things like being able to travel, work remotely, and get my own place and things like this, okay? So this is what I'm going to talk about in this video. If you're someone who feels like you have everything down, your physique is there, everything's good except like you just don't have the wealth piece, right? That's the piece that's missing, okay? And I tried tons of things before stumbling upon what I'm going to talk about here, and I just really want to share this because it really helped me. Okay. So let me take you back to 2022. All right. I'm 22 years old. I'm living in my parents' basement. Okay. And my 5 a.m. alarm clock goes off. Okay. I actually have a picture. I made an old video and I was literally in this situation talking about self improvement. You can check it out, but I'll put a picture up on the screen right now. Um, so my 5 a.m. alarm clock goes off as it normally does. I stare into the darkness usually for a few seconds, just kind of savoring the last few moments of being in bed before having to get up. I usually would go to the gym at 5 a.m. and that early grind was kind of what made me feel like I was accomplishing things and everything. Um, and so I stare into the darkness for a bit, and then I finally build up the courage to just stop the alarm clock. I get up. I turn on these fluorescent lights that I had, and I immediately close my eyes because the pain is just like super light. This basement had like fluorescent lights, and yeah, so I throw on my gym clothes, hoodie. I go upstairs. I go upstairs to down a protein shake before heading off to the gym. And the gym was like my biggest escape from the struggles of life I was going through, guys. Like, I had no clue what I wanted to do with my life after school. Um, and I didn't know what I wanted to do, like, for business either. But I knew that it was a period of time when I had been working several jobs, and it was kind of like I was at a point where it's like, what do I want to do, right? And this is where I was drawn to entrepreneurship and stuff. But I'll get into that. So the gym was the only part of my day that like I actually would feel good about myself and feel like I was making progress. So I mean, I used to work out literally 5 to 7 days a week. I put on major muscle. I was obsessed with it. Like, I was actually pretty big. And being honest, a lot of that drive was to kind of make up for insecurities, but that's a deeper topic for another time on like approaching self improvement the right way. But it was kind of a coping mechanism at the time that I used to kind of deal with life. Okay, but eventually, though, the self improvement stuff got old, right? The physique changes, the diet changes, the meditation, the gratitude, like it's good stuff. And I mean, at one point, I was consistent with gym and meditation for like the longest time. And meditation, I did like 5 days a week. I was like 4 to 5 days a week, pretty strict each week for an entire year. Like, I was consistent with this stuff, you know what I mean? So all these things were amazing and they helped me out dramatically, and there's nothing wrong with these things, but I know a lot of you guys are like will relate to this, that eventually it was time to focus on wealth improvement. It was almost like I thought that going to the gym and doing all this stuff was going to help me build wealth somehow, right? But it's like you need something practical to jump into on the wealth side before you can change in that way. And so that's what I needed, right? And I don't mean chasing money for status or approval, although at the start that was the manifestation of what it was. And there's nothing wrong with that either. But as you kind of go that route, you realize how it's not just about the money. It's more about the alignment and your long-term vision and what you're actually wanting to do on this planet in terms of impact. But okay, that's a deeper topic for another video. And I think a lot of you, and honestly, my younger self at 22 wouldn't have, I'm 26 now. My younger self wouldn't have really maybe bought into that quite yet, right? I needed something practical to make some money in an aligned way remotely. Okay, so at this period, I knew I wanted to build independence for myself. I knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur one day. Okay, so I was reading books on entrepreneurship. Honestly, MJ DeMarco's books, they completely changed my mindset on work, the traditional path everybody's going, and seeing things and seeing reality a little bit as it is, instead of just, following the route of like, oh, you go to college, you get a job, and then you save for retirement and doing this. It kind of helped me understand things and see entrepreneurship as a vehicle that was going to help me build the life I had ultimately wanted, right? And so that's what kind of got me into that, right? Now, that's not the vehicle I'm talking about, because I'm going to talk about entrepreneurship and how that fits into this, but it just clicked that, like, look, man, I need a practical way to improve my wealth where I can be more free, travel, and make some money. Like a lot of us, I think a lot of people at this stage in modern day, when they finish school, they just don't know how to get out of that phase of being at their parents' home. Maybe they're working jobs that they kind of just were able to get, and they don't really know how to make income independently from something that they want to do. And I think that's the biggest thing that I feel called to share in this video, but also help people with, right? So look, I was $50K in debt pretty much from college that didn't really teach me any real skills, right? And this is another topic, but a lot of people and me, like me, go to college just to find out what to do, right? And I think you should take a reverse approach. This is, again, we're getting sidetracked, but you should find out what it is you want to do and then see what's required for that. And if college is required for that, go, right? And on the other hand of the coin, I think that I learned a lot through the experiences in college, from a social aspect and all these other things. But yeah, it didn't teach me how to manage my wealth, how to create wealth, how to find jobs. It didn't teach me any of this stuff, guys. All right, so this is what kept me stuck in my parents' basement in New York, where the cost of living is crazy high. And for some reason, I thought it was a good idea. Once I had like some income coming in, I was making like $50K a year with like some kind of like, admin type work job that I didn't really enjoy at all. And it kind of was pulling a lot of energy from me. And it just had no attachment to my vision at all, right? So that's where your energy can shut off and you're like, what am I doing, So yeah, I ended up wanting to like finance a car for like 50 grand. I was paying like 800 month payments for a while. I shortly was like, okay, like what am I doing? I don't even have this money, and like, what is this car going to do for me? You know what I mean? Like I wasn't in a place to do that. So I traded it with my dad for the Honda Civic. And so I was in a standard job. I was making 50K a year. 80% of my week's energy was taken from that though, right? And then I would escape on the weekends because I would recharge, and I was stuck in that cycle, right? So I was at a place where interested in entrepreneurship, kind of like really getting a little bit dull from like my routine and kind of sick of that, on self-improvement, but like kind of realizing that like I need something else, right? I need something for the wealth piece. So I just realized like, okay, like going to the gym every day is going to get me results in physique and mindset, yes. Waking up at 5 a.m. every day, it's going to build discipline. And yeah, meditation is going to help me be calmer and more clear. But what's the thing that's going to help me make the money and the freedom that I want, right? This is the predicament, right? So this is what I was in. I needed a wealth improvement vehicle. Let me just adjust the camera here, guys. We're having fun. We're having fun here. This is some real raw story talk. So I was at a place, I needed a wealth improvement vehicle. Okay, so what habit or what vehicle would help me make money from my laptop in a way that can help me be independent, move out of my parents' home, travel, build safety in a way that's enjoyable as well, right? And so when the switch happened, the mindset switch happened of knowing I needed to focus on the wealth piece, Um, I mean, the first things I did was trying to invest my money in some things, some bonds or whatever, just try and like use investments to like make money. But that's not a long-term play. I mean, that's a long-term play, guys. It's not something that, it's where you put your money when you make the money, right? Um, and so I was trying to start various businesses. I made like a drop ship. I tried to do like a print on demand t-shirt drop shipping store. I was into these type of online stores because I was also interested in like graphic design and like designing things. I did like a wall art store on Etsy. I tried selling digital art on Etsy. I made like one or two sales of like $1 or two. And I was interested in all these things. I was trying all these avenues. I like one week, I was like, I'm breaking down and I'm going to build a clothing brand, right? I was making music and I was selling my beats to artists, and I was making it was actually pretty surprised I was able to make some money with that. Um, but I was trying all these things, guys, and as I did that, I realized that none of those things work because either I was approaching it in the wrong way in terms of like using music, which kind of it took the fun out of that for me to make money with it, and I didn't want to ruin that passion for me with the money piece. But these things were either too complicated or I didn't care about them, aside from just if they made me money. And so I didn't stick with them because of that, right? So I had to reflect on that too and realize that business is a long game, right? It actually takes time to explore my own curiosities and explore your own interests and curiosities long enough to know where to build or where to specialize in, right? So this is where I started to take business as a long game approach. I learned that lesson through those experiences, right? But I still needed money now. I still needed money now. So my play was, okay, let me treat business like a long-term game and let me spend some time each day kind of doing that. And what I was genuinely interested in was YouTube and personal branding and writing and making videos and creating things. And so I knew that I wanted to have that outlet, and that was potentially going to be the business thing. But that takes time, and I think most people who are in a position like this where it's like, I want to build a business, but you need time. You need time and space to allow yourself to explore the crevices of the planet that you feel like you want to impact people in, right? And sometimes it's good to have a financial blanket, a supportive blanket, so you don't put yourself in a place where you're desperate to make something work. Okay, that's going to make you turn into selling out potentially by just catering to a specific thing that makes money instead of what you actually care about, right? So this is why I changed my mind on business and how it's a long game approach, okay? But I still had the problem, guys, of needing money now, right? I just couldn't take it anymore in the routine that I was stuck in. I just needed a few grand a month. Like if I was literally saying to myself, if I can just make 2K a month remotely, like I would be good, right? And so I ended up finding a way to make way more than that, but I just needed that. I would have been happy because I was just trying to get out of the situation that I was in, put myself in a place where I'm doing meaningful work and able to work on my business on the side, right? So among everything, so the first thing I got into as this vehicle was freelance copywriting. Okay. I heard it was one of the best high income skills you can learn, and I was sold on how it was understanding human psychology and marketing and these things that are essential in business. And I still believe it's a great thing. But it was so hard to get going. So there's a huge lesson in this here, guys. I was doing a lot of free work for clients just to learn myself how to do this stuff, right? And I was getting paid small amounts, honestly, out of pity. I was doing like the my own business copywriting business route, okay? And then I learned something huge, okay? If you're someone who's trying to build income for yourself in an aligned way, and maybe you're trying things, and chasing 10K a month, I learned that there's an easier way to do this. There's a quicker and easier way to do this that helps you learn faster, develop faster, and make money faster, okay? I call it aligned apprenticeship. And I learned this from one of the people that I was watching on copywriting. His name is Kyle Milligan. And by the way, this video is not about copywriting. I'm going to talk to you about the skill that I stumbled upon different than copywriting, okay? That was better for me. And maybe you'll realize how it's better for you. But yeah, this guy, Kyle Milligan, he was one of the guys that I was watching on copywriting. He told me about this aligned apprenticeship approach where most people try and start a skill and they put themselves in such a hard place unnecessarily by doing everything on their own. Okay, you can learn this way, but there's an easier way to get paid to learn by getting hired by a company to learn the skill until you have enough competence to do it yourself. Okay, this is a huge trick. Okay, and this doesn't mean getting into another 9 to 5. It's different, guys, because it's the skill that's giving you the freedom that you're building and learning faster by working for a company that excels in it, right? Before you do it on your own. Okay? And so that clicked with me because I was struggling to get clients and make any kind of money. I made probably like $300 total. I did it for like months. Okay. I felt how hard it was to learn something and also fulfill work for clients and learn this specific niche of the business and learn how to work with this type of client in this industry and how do I even get him results? Is it this? Is it that? It was so much, guys. And so what I ended up doing is I took Kyle Milligan's approach and became an aligned apprentice, right? I ended up finding a job at a publishing house, and it was actually one of the biggest ones in the space where some of the best copywriters are in the world. But I wasn't good enough yet to be a copywriter there, even entry level. They're very strict there, but I still was like, oh, this is the best of the best. Like I'll just get my foot in, and eventually I'll do the copywriting, and that'll give me the freedom. So they offered me a job in the sales and customer support department. And so this was the first kind of taste of sales and stuff like that. And this was cool because it gave me an opportunity to move out of home. One, it was the first taste of doing that. And I was living in my own space. I had some roommates, but I had a pretty good space there. But the only part about it that I didn't like was that it wasn't an office, and I had to go to the office majority of the week. And so I saw the vision. The vision was that I was going to learn copywriting and eventually have enough skills to then do this from anywhere in the world and make 10K a month. And then I could use those skills to build a business, right? But honestly, as I started to work there, I just realized I wasn't so into copy anymore. Like I just wasn't so into it. Okay. And it was just things were taking longer than I wanted for what I wanted, the situation that I wanted. I wanted remote. I wanted to build a business. Okay. So I started to drift away from that. But what that exposed me to was sales, guys, because I was working in sales on calls with people. I was making transactions with people over the phone. And I ended up through this time networking with a mentor online who told me about remote sales. Okay, and this was the first vehicle that eventually gave me 6-figure income, over 10K months. It gave me such financial stability and remote freedom. It was the best thing that I could have got into, guys. And it at first I was like, but can I actually do that? Like I'm just an average person. Like can I actually do that? Like it seemed like a dream, right? I had zero self-belief in myself. But I started to learn about sales and see how directly those skills translate to business, right? So I was selling myself on sales, or I was sold on sales, and realized the reality of it, right? So a lot of the best entrepreneurs learn sales because it's the lifeblood of business, right? Sales is the front lines of business to bring in cash. So without sales, there is no cash. Without cash, there is no business. Okay? Sales is also human psychology. It's communicating your ideas with people. It's understanding, and there's a lot of self-development in it too. You learn discipline, time management, productivity. You learn how to have people skills, social skills. You learn how to understand problems and how problems fit into the market and how to read markets and how to literally out of thin air find somebody and get into a conversation with them potentially about buying what you have to offer, right? So if you're someone who wants to be an entrepreneur, this is the best thing. This is the best thing, hands down, because you're going to learn the intricacies of business and how to communicate your ideas and how to get cash in the door, how to present your company, your services, your offers, whatever it is, to people, and how to make that cash flow happen. That's what sales is, guys. And it applies to anything in life, not even if you don't want to start a business. It applies to socializing, being good with people, understanding, again, psychology, how people work, right? It's just going to be so useful at any point. It's going to be negotiating for a promotion, like whatever it is, sales is that thing. It's communication at its core. It's selling, it's helping people see the value of what you have to share. Okay, whether it's ideas, offers, services. Okay, so everything about it resonated with me. This is a fun video, guys. I just had so much doubt that I could actually like use it to go remote and just work from my laptop. Like I didn't believe that was possible. And so I took a leap, guys. I invested a crazy amount of money for mentorship on the premise of finally having a solid wealth vehicle that allowed me to be remote, work from anywhere, and be aligned to my long-term vision of being an entrepreneur, right? And so in a matter of weeks, I started to, which by the way, sales on its own, you're basically running your own business. Like I can talk more about this, but it is the first taste of entrepreneurship. Okay. And you get paid to learn it. You get paid to master the skill of sales, right? Because you can get a role at a company, working for a company, a team that will pay you to do sales for them and teach you at the same time. Okay. This is the way. Okay. So in a matter of weeks, I started applying to remote tech sales roles. I ended up getting my first role at a startup. I was immediately making a lot more than I ever made. I was feeling good. It was such a good feeling to finally have my work feel aligned and meaningful in that way. Yes, it was hard to quit my job. And honestly, I didn't even it was crazy how quick I was able to get to that point where I'm like, hey guys, I'm putting it in, I'm leaving, I'm transitioning. And that was a crazy experience to finally be able to be fully remote. I mean, that was a good feeling. I'm thinking back on it. That was such a good feeling. I had full freedom now to be like, all right, where do I want to go? Within boundaries, so there's different spaces you can get into in terms of whatever you want to optimize for your values, whether it's high ticket space, if you want to travel the world, or if you want to get a role in a different country. But in general, tech sales roles in the country they're based, it doesn't really matter where you are, but for some of the big ones, you do have to stay in your country. But I had so much freedom. I have never had that much freedom when I made that transition. And by the way, guys, if you feel like you want help to break into a sales role or an equivalent role for a company and become an aligned apprentice, like I'm talking about, the first link in the description, I help people with that. Okay, so if you want to book a one-on-one call or mentorship, if you feel called for that, feel free to check that out. But it was such a good feeling to finally have work aligned in that meaningful way, right? So no, it wasn't something I wanted to do for the long term, right? I knew I wanted to build a business, right? And I think a lot of us do if you're watching this. But when you've been through experiences I went through, and if you're someone who knows they don't want to rush business, but you need income now, right? You need time and space to explore the crevices of the planet that you want to help people with in the business side, read and figure out where you want to help people, right? That takes time, and you don't want to prematurely jump the gun on that and build another 9 to 5, like some of these things that I was doing would have turned into, like the stores and everything like that. Okay, so that's why I think sales is the best aligned wealth creation vehicle for people like this, okay? Instantly, I was making 5 to 6 grand from my laptop in a role like this, guys. Then as I mastered the SDR role, okay, and made 6 figures with just that role alone, became an AE, I became a closer, had some insane months, over 10K. I was learning closing skills. I then got a taste of the remote high ticket sales space. This was just at the start of this year, the end of last year, right? Closing thousands of dollars on 1-2 call closes, right? Sales is fun, guys. And I've made a few mistakes in terms of neglecting my business exploration through that journey, right? I was working in one of the biggest, one of the biggest, but one of the most well-known and highly competitive tech companies in the space, where there was a lot of pressure, right? I was in a bigger team, and there was a lot of more targets. And through that time, I learned a lot in terms of, okay, well, how do I manage, the pressure, and I kind of lost sight on what I wanted for a while, but that's a topic for another video. I was kind of just 10K a month, and that was okay, right? But through all this, it's given me much safety, security, freedom. And all throughout that time, I had the space to build YouTube videos. You see this on my channel. I was documenting day in the lives. I was exploring on the side. I was doing music, beats when I wanted. And it gave me that time and space I needed to learn some things and get the clarity I needed, which is now crystallizing in terms of where I want to help people, right? At least at this stage, right? So it gave me a lot of safety, security, freedom. I was Airbnb hopping around the country, working remote. I went to trips abroad like Thailand. It gave me the freedom to do that comfortably and still get paid going there. I got my own studio apartment with pool, gym, barista. It's given me the financial stability to invest literally tens of thousands of dollars into my own personal development for health, inner work, working with mentors. And it's given me the financial stability it gave me a lot of comfort in terms of the finance side and saving up money and having money to invest in myself, my skills, mentors, which also accelerates the business, by the way, right? And that helps me master what I want to master and develop in the way that I want to develop, right? So there's a lot that sales can help float you up to be able to do, right? Whether it's capital for your business, whether it's the skills of sales, which you're going to learn every single day, just helping you understand and be a better business person, or investing that into specific mentorships or courses or development areas that you want to excel in yourself to impact people potentially, or just for yourself, right? So I believe that this is the number one skill for people who want to move into wealth improvement, right? I'm not the only one talking about this. I mean, this is the vehicle, guys. I've tried a lot of things, okay? So I think it's the number one skill for people who are trying to build a business and they know they want to be an entrepreneur, but they need to build themselves and build independence as a young person after school, right? Like, this is the best thing, guys. Okay, so I feel called to leave it there. That's just a little story time and just a little bit about my journey. I think that, hopefully you enjoyed. Hopefully you resonated with a lot of that path, and it can be super like, it's hard to be in a place where you have no clue what you're doing and you don't know what the future holds. But I'm telling you, if you continue to do what you're doing, it's going to come clear to you. And that's just how my path was. Eventually you're going to find something, guys. And if you feel like you need help with that path and that transition from going from self-improvement to wealth improvement, and you feel like you want to get into a role, I've helped people with this and have helped people do this in a matter of just weeks, guys. I've paid thousands of dollars working with recruiters, managers, mentors to learn the skills of sales and also navigating sales. Okay, I've probably spent over like 25K in total on just that. And so if you feel like you need, well over that, I think. If you feel like you need help with that transition, again, feel free to check out the first link in the description where you can book a call or a mentorship with me. Okay, that's the deepest way that I can help you. The second link is going to be my community that I'm building. I'm building out, it's in beta right now. So it's at like a beta investment range right now. It will go up as I kind of flesh everything out, but that's going to be one of the things I'm building in terms of course modules, step-by-step roadmaps, and helping people build independence in the different ways that I can, right? So that's a space I'm curating for people who want to honor their authentic path and who are in a place where they want to break out of the kind of path they're on and want to jump into independence. Okay, so check that out as well. And otherwise, I hope to see you in another one. I enjoyed this and hope you did as well. Take care now. Chad's out. Bye.